Hello everyone. Thank you for participating in my human resource management presentation on the Great Resignation, or not. Between the months of February 2020 and October of 2021, roughly 2.6 million Americans retired earlier than expected, according to Federal Reserve Bank of St. Louis senior economist Miguel Faria y Castro. Some of the people got really used to the forced simplification of being on lockdown during the pandemic, as most stores were closed and or out of stock. So they figured this new lifestyle was a great fit and they could afford a much leaner budget. Then the actual effect of the shutdown began to surface, with many financial recovery hurdles along with supply chain management issues, coupled by new government policies driving inflation to 8% year-over-year highs, according to Harriet Torrey. In an article he wrote on April 12, 2022, labeled as "Prices Surge, Retirees Return to Work." If you look at the last several months, or last few years, and over a span of several months each year, in October of 2019, 180,000 people over the age of 55 were entering the workforce. You fast forward 6 months, in March of 2021, that amount rose by 38.9%. And then again, in October of 2021, it rose another 38.4%. And then just recently, March 2022, the amount entering the workforce was 480,000. Now, if you compare that to inflation during that same time, back in October 19, before the pandemic, inflation rate was at 1.8%. March 2021 started to creep up at 2.6%. October 2021, 6.2%. You're beginning to see the correlation between inflation and people returning to work, especially those retirees. And just recently, it's at a whopping 8.5%, forcing a lot more people, 300,000 more than those entering in 2019, to start looking for work. The inflation data gathered was from tradingeconomics.com. Now we look at this from a standpoint of human resource management, as covered in Chapter 9 of our book, specifically regarding the need for workers to fill the jobs left vacant by way of pandemic-era corporate contractions or excessive early retirements. There's hundreds of thousands of jobs to fill out there, and some people just aren't coming back to work flat out. They found other ways to put food on the table. That is except for these early retirees, because they couldn't predict the amount of inflation and how that would impact their thoughts of living a simplified life after their early retirements. So now corporations are starting to look at these people who thought that there's greener pastures that they could go to, and now they're suddenly looking to come back to the workplace. Several factors to consider during these callbacks, including human capital and social capital aspects, as rehiring could pose issues not present before. From a human capital perspective, are the former retired employees coming back going to be as productive as before? Or we know that their competency level is the same, but are they really going to be that interested, or are they just coming back for a paycheck? From a social capital perspective, is there a trust issue stemming from the human capital concern of them just coming back to get by for a few months? Are the relationships going to be the same, since a boomerang employee may not be as helpful as before or willing to put much time in training the next generation? Another set of factors is the adverse impact. which is the effect an organization has when it uses an employment practice or procedure that results in unfavorable outcomes to protected class such as Hispanic over another group of people such as non-Hispanic. Or this is, relates directly to age as well. How are these companies going to solicit the ads for the people coming back without causing any ripples to any other classes of people? And what are the expectations of someone who already checked out once? Does the criteria get adapted to all these possibilities to alleviate any discrimination issues that may come from hiring back an older individual that may not perform as they did before, not really interested in skills improvement, may not agree with the significant workplace culture changes? How does human resource prepare to take back people that have already retired physically and mentally once and expect them to perform exactly as they did the day before they decided to leave the first time? And then if they do not perform as well, what is the criteria for letting them go? Are we going to run into age discrimination issues? Are they being hired to train the younger people? Are they being hired to perform as the younger people are today? Those are all factors that need to be considered. I don't think that book has been written yet, though. There are too many factors and changes in workplace culture to even begin to foresee what the tail end of this movement will look like, let alone how to actually prepare for it. I'm sure the issue of people coming out of retirement has come up many times before, but the difference between February 2020 and today is beyond imaginable by any scholar, and is surely shocking to any employee that walked out then, stepping back in the workplace for the first time now.